Yeah, how's it, man?
Oh, I'm a bit tired at the moment.
Don't say anything, you've been recorded, so you might let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, I know. I see it was recorded, but yes, I didn't think that 2 glasses of whiskey will catch me, will eat me like this. I am.
So you on another
So,
planet. Yeah. Yes, it's hot though, man.
Yeah, I came home from, from the, after driving with 2 whiskeys in my body, which is not good, but I had to get home. But, yes, because I've even got the aircon running here with me, but it's, I just keeled over here in the chair.
Yeah. No, it really is bloody hot. And of course, now this load shedding, you see, we're going permanently stage 2 and 3. Eh? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know.
They stole all the money, so there's nothing to fix this stuff with. So I don't know what the government is going to do and where they're going to get it. So, yeah.
Even, I did my storyboard script for the teleprompter this morning early before Sheldon arrived to come and buy that bed from me. And I'd uploaded one of the 2 files uploaded onto my cell phone and none of them uploaded onto my tablet. So I had to swing it around. I wanted to do the video on the phone and the Zoom, the storyboard on the tablet. Now I had to swing it around. Anyway, there we go. Good evening, everybody. 1900. Let's hear who's out there for this week's weekly check-in. ZS6 OPS standing by. All right, thanks, Pierre. Yeah, I believe my signal is a bit noisy. I am on handheld, so we're going to have to live with it, unfortunately, from ZS6 OPS. Was that any better?
But I'm saying I'm not going to come up on air. I'm going to stay on Zoom.
Okay, but were you listening to me on Zoom? I mean on radio. Okay, I don't know how I'm going out then. Whoa. As long as it doesn't fall over and interfere with my coffee, I'm happy. All right, let's see if there's any other check-ins. There's the 6 OPS standing by. Now, yeah, it's a funny thing. It's not interfering with my Zoom tonight, whereas before it did.
There's an interesting visual effect here on Zoom with where the chroma keying is working very funny.
Okay, good stuff. So let's just acknowledge everybody that I've got so far. ZS6 SNY, ZS6 FPS, ZS6 JFK. Evening, everybody. Let's have a look and see. 1902. We'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll kick off. I am on handout purely because of the load shedding. And let's see how it goes this evening. Any other check-ins? ZS6 OPS standing by. I think the chroma key is doing that because of the light, possibly. You probably find it's a little bit better now, but you see how bright the light comes on me. You muted.
I say it's on your shadow side where the chroma keying is making funny things.
Yeah. If I had the light, another light on the other side, it would have fixed it. And also, yeah, now I'm interfering. Okay, 1903. Any other check-ins for this evening's net? The 6 OPS. Now, for some reason, I don't see Pierre up on screen yet. Oh, there we go. Okay, no. I had to change views.
But it's only his logo.
Yeah, he's hiding his nipples tonight. Pierre, quickly do an audio check. Right, 1904, second last call for check-ins, and we're going to get started. So there's 6 OPS standing by. Last call for check-ins. There's 6 Oscar Papa Sierra standing by. Okay, 1905. Good evening, everybody. Let's get started with this week's net. For those wishing to join the net, we're also using Zoom. And you're more than welcome to join us on Zoom as well. If you don't have the Zoom link, please contact me on WhatsApp 082-859-2684, and I'll send you the link with the greatest of pleasure. Radio amateurs, of course, are more than welcome to join via the Rudderpoort repeater as well as Zoom. So, that being said, greetings to one and all, and welcome to this week's net. Today is Sunday, the 22nd of January, 2023, and the time is 1905. We begin the weekly net with the radio amateur check-ins on the Rudderpoort repeater for approximately 5 minutes before proceeding. This net is broadcast every Sunday evening starting at 1900, and it is broadcast for the benefit of radio amateurs, disaster relief CERT volunteers, and members of the public, the general public, and other interested parties. Everyone is welcome to participate using either amateur radio or Zoom, or both if you so desire. I would like to remind all radio amateurs that, especially those that have listened and have not checked in, that you do not need to be a member of any group or club to check in or to use the repeater or any of the amateur radio bands. All that is required from you is that you have a paid up and valid amateur radio license issued by ECRN, which automatically grants you the right to use any of the amateur radio bands at any time. There is no need for you to ask for or be granted permission from anyone else in order to use the repeaters or amateur radio bands. I'd also like to encourage all the listeners and participants to share the weekly net Zoom link with everyone they know throughout South Africa, as doing so will help us grow the weekly net and will contribute to disseminating information as far and wide as possible. Okay, moving on, ZS6 OPS returning. Now it's time to unpack the weekly COVID-19 figures. Globally, the reported COVID-19 figures are at 668,744,368 compared to last week's 666 million. This is only an increase of 1.9 million new cases having been reported this week compared to the 2.8 million reported in the previous week. Leading up to the December holidays, we were still averaging approximately 3 million a week, so the numbers have decreased slightly. There is an overall decrease of about 915,000 cases compared to the previous week's decrease of 488. So even then, the total number of cases reported week on week, we can see there is a slight decrease. ZS6OPS returning. The death toll globally now stands at 6,738,935 compared to last week's total of 6,722,000. This is actually an increase this week of 16,000 odd deaths. That looks, if I got my figures correct, it's up slightly from last week, which I think was about 10,000. Now, as far as South Africa is concerned, this week we have been fortunate enough for the NICD to start publishing the number of cases due to, the end of the festive season. So we now have a total of 1,296 cases reported this week, compared to the last amount of 626, which I think was around about the 12th of December. So just in the last month, we've seen a decrease of about 330 cases on average. The death toll this week, however, is 20, still reasonably low. I think the last figure was in the region of about 10. Moving on to Mpox. Let me just clear the timeout timer. Okay, ZS6OPS returning. Mpox is now no longer monkeypox, it's Mpox. This week is reported at 84,916 cases globally, as at the 19th of February. I just dropped the radio, so let me pick it back up and get back on air there. ZS6OPS returning. Okay, so Mpox is now reported at 84,916 cases globally as at the 19th of January, compared to the 84,639 in the previous week. That's an increase of 277 cases, whereas the previous week's increase was 309. Fortunately, South Africa has not reported any new cases. Can't say the same for measles, unfortunately. So following the current outbreak of measles, I'm now including this in my weekly net, and I'm including the weekly figures in the interest of public health. So as at the 19th of February 2023, South Africa now has a total of 380 cases compared to the 371 reported last week. It's just an increase of 9 new cases, although I think the testing levels are a bit lower. And of course, Limpopo is still leading the pack here with 141 cases, followed by the Northwest with 118. And of course, Gauteng is reporting 17. Now, moving on to World Health news, or news related to the World Health, following the discovery of the XBB 1.5 variant, South Africa has now reported its second case. And of course, the Department of Health has actually stipulated, and various other scientists that are studying COVID still believe that this could be the dominant variant moving forward for South Africa. So it's only the second case at this stage, but we'll have to, closely monitor that one as well. All right, moving on, just some general news following the report this morning regarding the, this is now for the benefit of radio amateurs in particular. This morning's SAL report actually made reference to the renewal email that was sent out regarding the licensing for the 2023 to 2024 year. And unfortunately, I think what has been missed is that the emails were sent out, and as soon as the email arrived my side, I logged on to have a look to see why. I've been getting this email, and yes, there was a renew button, and I thought, okay, I'll come back and have a look at it just now, and I came back an hour later and the renew button had disappeared. Quite clearly, the ECRN must have picked up that they had either a problem with the database sending out the renewal notices early, and it looked as though they had in actual fact done a full data restore, as every one of my licenses had in actual fact moved back into the ordinary status being paid up, licenses were downloadable and updates available. So clearly there was a restore that was done. Now, yeah, it's true. I think the radio amateurs do need to know, what the new license fees will be, which hasn't been made public yet. And of course, the SAL has requested that, which is great. So I think for the benefit of all radio amateurs, both SAL members and non-SAL members, stick around until SAL does in actual fact give an indication of what the fees are as instructed by ICASA, and that will lead us to the point of where the ICASA online portal should in actual fact, okay, ZS6OP is returning, we should in actual fact be able to renew the licenses. I think by then, whatever bug they had, they could have corrected by that time. I also need to point out that all licensees, that's every single radio amateur, you can take full control of your own ICASA license management, and you do not need to rely on any other third party to do so. Now, I am aware that many of the newer radio amateurs are in actual fact being managed by third parties, and it's actually quite a simple process. All you have to do as a new licensee, or even an old licensee if you wish to control it for yourself, is to create a logon on the online portal, which is online.icasa.org.za. So you just create your online account using or creating a username and password for the first step. And then, of course, the second step, you create a legal entity whereby you would in actual fact appoint yourself using your own ID number as a legal entity, because you would probably not be creating a legal entity for another person or company or business or whatever the case might be. Now, once you've created your new online login and you've created your own personal ID legal entity and ICASA has approved it, once approved, when you log on, you'll see you have full control over your license. You can renew it at your own time. And of course, all notifications will be sent to you directly. Now, that unfortunately is something that isn't or has not been made public knowledge, but it has in actual fact been made available. Actually, it has. It's been made available several months ago. ZS6OP is returning. It was actually made available on the SAL forum many months ago. Diebold did stipulate that everybody can take control of their own licenses. So I thought I'd bring that up and start bringing it to the attention of radio amateurs, and for the benefit of radio amateurs, regardless of what people might think, feel, or otherwise. The fact of the matter is you've got every legal right to control your own licenses. All right, so now finally in closing, I'd like to encourage everyone to register as a disaster relief cert volunteer and to prepare and train to assist local communities for when a disaster strikes. We will in actual fact be taking this to a higher level at a later stage. And when I'm good and ready, we will be making it quite clear as to what disaster relief cert is for the benefit of all radio amateurs, and to put a lot of the misconceptions to rest. Now, if there are any other radio amateurs, listeners who have not yet checked in, please go ahead with your call sign. I'll add you to this week's list quickly. ZS6OP is standing by. Okay, nothing heard. Firstly, I'd like to thank all of those who have checked in this week, both on amateur radio as well as those that signed in via Zoom. I'd also like to remind you that as the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing and is still infecting millions weekly, remember to physically distance yourself and to wear a mask in order to protect others. The mask wearing doesn't protect you, it protects others. And despite many saying that it actually gives you brain damage and all of that, well, I'd like to say that in that case, I think virtually the entire worldwide population has probably been operated on by morons, because all those surgeons wear masks on a regular basis when in theatre. Yeah, so wear that mask, especially around the elderly, because they could lose their lives if they are infected with COVID-19. And wash your hands on a regular basis, and in any event, it's always a good idea to sanitize your hands on a regular basis. For the week moving forward, I'd like to say be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. This is ZS6 OPS now releasing 145.625 for general use. Cheers all.